So I am hungry and I'm just gonna talk to you guys while I make some buckwheat, which is really good and like fiber and all that other stuff. This is kind of like my first like real, like I guess long form video here on YouTube, and basically I'm not gonna be doing a whole bunch of editing, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, my boobs look like really big. But I'm not gonna be doing like a lot of editing because it's not who I am. You can't really edit life, and I'm gonna be just talking to you guys while I make some food. And if you haven't heard of buckwheat, it is really, really good, and it's also good for you. I sometimes eat buckwheat instead of using rice, and it's like I said, it's really good. And think of it like oatmeal, but like a nutty flavor. So I'm just gonna wash my pan and go ahead and get into it. Stay if you want. If you don't, that's okay too. But yeah, so I am in Vietnam. As a lot of people know from like my shorts, and if you follow my TikTok and like my Instagram and I guess like my Facebook too, you know that I moved out of the country. And so now, I mean, I originally went to Thailand, but then I decided, after like my visa was up, I came to Vietnam because Vietnam actually has like longer visas for like tourists and stuff, so it's like 3 months. And then I can like renew with not too many issues. Thailand is a bit stricter, which I completely understand. But Vietnam isn't even the place that I would consider that's going to be like my forever. I want something like Scotland or Ireland, or somewhere where it's I don't even know how to say it, like my favorite time of year, all year round. I mean, I do understand that they have summers in both of those places, in like Belgium and everything. I know that they have like summers, but I want it to kind of look like fall, but also winter. So my favorite time of year is that time right after like Thanksgiving, and it gets like dark and muddy and wet, and it's like for like 17 days to like December like 15th or something. That's when it starts, getting more snowy. And as someone who's like originally from New York, that's just like my favorite time of year. So that's pretty much what I want. So I have to figure out how to get there, and that's my thing. Figure out how to make enough money to get that, and hey, content creation can change a lot of people's lives. And trying never hurt anyone, and I believe that you should try everything that you possibly can to get the life that you want. So yeah, so here in Vietnam, also in Thailand, you can't drink the tap water. I personally don't drink the tap water even when I was in the US, but here you really, really can't, because you can get really sick. And also you need to be very careful about like cooking with the tap water. So people tend to just buy their water jugs. And then you just pour it in. But yeah, so like I said, I'm just gonna make me some buckwheat and just wanted to talk to you guys while I did it. It's kind of like a talking video, and that's pretty much a lot of what I'm gonna be doing, just talking to you guys, especially about like mental health. As someone who struggles with mental health the way that I do, I'm very, very passionate about it. And I want people to really understand that it's not a game. So this is the buckwheat that I use. And this is like what it looks like, if you can see it. It's like little seeds. But back to mental health, it's just a really big thing for me. So I have ADHD, and I'm also on the spectrum with anxiety, and I want everyone to understand that mental health looks different in each person because every person is very different. Contributing factors is sometimes personality, the environment. So as someone who grew up in foster care for years, and then I was adopted as a teenager, my mental health has always kind of suffered a lot. Also, another thing to note, nutrition, that can also play a factor in your mental health. I was malnourished for a very long time because, as you know, foster parents take in foster kids because they want money. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And so I want you guys to just realize that if you see someone struggling, or if you see people like pulling away, it's not necessarily them pulling away from you. Sometimes it's, you know, them pulling away from the situation, because it's really hard to comprehend. And one of the hardest things for mental health is actually explaining it to people who will pretty much never truly understand what it is to have it. I just want you to check in on your friends, because it is so important. You know, just be there. Someone like me, I don't really call too many people. I don't really have friends, because when I pulled away, they didn't know how to handle it. And so, you know, I use social media as a way to, you know, connect. And then, you know, you get a therapist and you work all the steps, but sometimes that doesn't always help. So just be there. Let them know that you're there for them, and that you're supporting them, and that you love them, and that if they ever need anything, you know, just send a text. It's very simple. It takes 2 seconds to send a text. You don't want to have to say goodbye before it's their time, right? So that's kind of like my little, I don't know, TED Talk. I will probably insert like something of my buckwheat in there, because I don't like to do really long videos. But yeah, it takes maybe about 10 to 15 minutes to make it, and I will like insert it in here and you get to see it at the end. But anyways, I want you guys to have such an amazing, blessed day. remember, you are enough. No, you're more than enough. And you have a friend in me. I love you, and so does God. And have a great day. Bye, guys.